Hi, thanks for checking out another one of our videos here. If you've got a fence charger that needs to be worked on or looked at, send it on in here to us and we'll give it a good old once over on it and see what we can figure out for you. But there's our information, fencerfixer.com. There's also links in the description for all this stuff that takes you to our website. So if you can't read it, don't know how to type it up for whatever reason, just hit the little drop down arrow, click on the link and take you right to our website. But we also work on cattle scale, low bars for a multitude of brands, but we do work on all brands, these fence chargers, old style, new style. We worked on something the other day that was 45 years old. The stamp on the inside on the one of the pieces on this is 1975, and just a little tweak here and there and a little rewiring and whatever you want to call it, and got the dumb thing going again. So, all things can be fixed if you know what you're doing. Not everything, but a good portion of them. Well, anyways, this is a Gallagher M600. Here's some crap rolling around the inside, so we're going to go ahead and take it apart here. There's screws. Okay, there's this one. They only have two screws in them, either in these two corners or these two corners, typically. And they're safety screws. They got the tamper-proof stuff going on this stuff because they're UL listed, so UL requires companies that are UL listed on their AC units to put some kind of safety screw in them. So I'm going to get these. I can't find my Phillips screwdriver. I have 3 of them, and I can't find none of them. So I got to figure out a way to get this dumb thing open without having to. This will work. Come on. There. This kind of a needle nose, parts that are wide on the end there. Take the back cover off. Oh yeah. Well, the reason why it doesn't work is this transformer right here. Gallagher used a yellow one. What year is this thing? 2006 model. 2006 board. And they started making this model in 05. And from 05 to about 09, 08, somewhere in that range, they used this yellow transformer in them. And they stopped using them because they would put out too much power and it overpowered the board, and you get this kind of stuff going on where it burns the board up there, burns it up there, and also damages the lightning rod. See, it's supposed to be copper, and now it's like green because it's got all this arc and oxidation on there. So they went away from the yellow transformer. They weren't bad. They just caused this kind of issue where you can see this thing's 15, 16 years old now, and it finally hit the bucket and quit on them. So, ooh, yeah. See, it overpowered the board there and burnt that little tab up there. So, let's see what else we can do. It also looks like it burnt up this little tab there, but we have this piece of something rolling around, a piece of glue or glass. Oh, it's part of the light bulb, part of the little green LED that lights up. So, I don't know what we're going to do there. Well, let's start by unplugging the power cord from the thing. I mean, we can put a new board in there and new transformer and call it done and be basically ready to go. But let's see if we can. So this transformer is not bad. It is bad there, because that's where it plugs into the primary side of the board and these two terminals there. So probably clean this up. I'll probably keep this transformer because I probably use it in something else. But let's go get a new transformer, do some cleaning, test this capacitor. You can see it's been all this arcing that's been going on has been fumigating on the inside where all this stuff's been coated in this crap. So we'll see if we can clean the stuff up, and we'll see if the capacitor is any good as well. So let's do that first before we do a lot of cleaning and crap on it. So this is a 30 microfarad capacitor, which a lot of brands use in their mid-size units. It reads 19, almost 20. So capacitor needs to be changed. It's a little too low. If it was like 23, 25, I'd probably just live with it. But when it's reading less than 20, this capacitor's, well, it's 15 years old too. So capacitors, they don't last forever. I'm going to cut these off. I can see that they're all arced up and wore out, and you could squeeze them back together, but those crack on you, so I might as well just put new ones on. So we'll do that too. So we'll go get a new transformer, a new capacitor, do a bunch of cleaning on it. We got to replace that terminal there because it's where the transfer plugs in at. We'll have to replace that, and I've got those in stock. That's all burnt up. You see, it's all it won't focus. It's got a bunch of arcing going on, the burnt stuff on the inside of that one. This one's not too bad. We'll clean it though. Well, it's not even making contact, so we'll have to get rid of this and this. I think I've got, nope, I've got the male spade version. I have the female versions that solder to the board. So this tricks this stuff. We'll have to do is to show you a few tricks of our trade of what I do here. I don't know if we do all this work, the board may still not work right. We'll find out here in a little bit. Alright, so let me go get some stuff here. Alright, I got a new transformer and a capacitor for it. Now what Gallagher did do after they went away from the yellow one, they came out with a blue one. The blue one looks just like this, same part number as this one, but blue. And then eventually, I don't know, 2012-ish, I don't know, 2010, I don't know when it was. They went to a brown tan colored one on all their transformers that were this shape, and even on the new transformers built today on some of their newer models that don't use transformers like this, they had a gray or a brown colored transformer. I can't remember what plastic they call it something, I don't remember what to call it. It's just a better plastic that they're making the transformers out of, but the internals were all the same. So the internals of this brown one are the same as the blue one, and the blue ones were good. They were the same as this, just different colored plastic. Alright, so there's the new capacitor as well. I don't know if we can be worth saving these or not. Let's see if I got a new here. Oops. There's one new one. There's another style. It's the wrong one. That goes up here. Yeah, it's supposed to look like it's supposed to be brass, but instead they're all not brass. So I'll save these as a spare part in there. And maybe if I really come across a bad one and I don't have another one, I can, instead of buying a new terminal, I can connector, we'll clean it up. But for now, we're going to put new ones on the new capacitor. Just it's a little loose. I'm going to tighten that connection up. Squeeze it down a little bit, and we'll get started. Slam it on there. Now it's on there nice and flush. Okay, now we're going to move on to this next. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean up all the arc spots that are on here, just so I know really what I'm working with. Okay, so now what we got to desolder off here is this terminal there. This one I'm just going to, I'll desolder what I can. A lot of the connection's gone, burnt up, so there's nothing really there anyways. And then clean it up a little bit more. Actually, what we may have to do is put a new connection on there as well, which I've got those here. I stock those. Whoops. But it's a 1/4 inch versus whatever size that is, so it's a little bit wider connector. Because that one's pretty ate up on that side. And then, but this will not work on these because it has to be female, because the tabs up on this front case on here are male. So I'll leave a couple of those out. And then on here, it takes this, I call it a V-clip. I don't know what Gallagher calls it. Maybe that's what they call it too. It's a connector like this, solders to the board, and then the spades of the transformer and capacitor, I guess, they plug in like that. But it squeezes together a little bit, so it makes it tighter fit when you go to solder it. So I've got those in stock. So what we will do is we'll start off by sucking the solder off of the solder joints here. We're going to replace this one for sure, because it's really burnt out. It's the real bad one. So we're going to take solder off of these, all these pins here. So I could save a whole lot of time and just put a new board in there. But see, if we need a new board, new transformer, new capacitor, that's going to add up real quick. And then it may not be worth doing. So if I can sell the guy a new unit, which would be the M560 or M800, is what would be replacement of this one. The M560 is a little bit less power, M800 a little bit more power. But I'm a repair guy first, so I'd rather save the guy some money and versus having to just swap it out with a new one. So just trying to pull the solder off there. And while it's heated up, I'll grab these, pull that right out of there. Might as well just do it to both sides. It's heat up this side too. Pull that one off, but I do need to suck the solder off this one a little bit more because it's covering up the holes that the new terminal will plug into. That one's good. Alright, then we'll go to the front side here and see if we can pull this off. Okay, that came off, so that's bad. Clean that up. And this one looks okay. We may have to remove these two as well, because there's a lot of green crap built up inside there as well. The only thing is, I don't know if I've got enough. I don't have a whole lot of those little connectors, but I've got some. There's another one there. There's a couple more there, so I need to see if I can get some more of those. But so let's we're just going to move our way across the board. Eventually we'll get to these, but we'll replace those two as well, because those just look, probably clean it. I just don't want to risk of it arcing and then coming right back or having other issues down the line. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do the repair now and then send it to the guy and he says, well, it worked about 4 or 5 weeks and now it's not working again. I get it back and then now it's all arced up again on here, and I'm like, God dang it, should have done it right the first time instead of trying to save money and time. Just do it right the first time. You have to do it twice. I don't. It happens sometimes like that, but typically not. I don't like doing the work more than once. unless I'm already in the middle of doing it and then I find another problem, or this or that comes up. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I got to do it this way. I guess this isn't quite as good as I thought it was. Okay, I think that's all off there, but it just takes time to do it right. If I knew that this board was 100% good and this needed transformer capacitor, I wouldn't even do this. I just put a new board or new capacitor, new transformer in it, and then just that would be it. I'd call it done. You see, it lasted 15, 16 years for it finally, for that transformer finally caused an issue. They caught the issue, back in 08, 09, 07, somewhere in that range. So they had already saw the issue. It wasn't really like a recall or nothing like that. It was just they saw like, that's not good. Why is it doing this all the time here and there? And they updated it, fixed the problem way back when. And you still, every once in a while, you get a unit like this coming in for repair because of a problem they had 15 years ago. They'd already solved the issue. And this one just lasted longer. It probably wasn't like a major failure, but they saw a small issue way back when and decided that they were going to fix it then instead of letting it go on and on and on. That's why Gallagher's reputation of reliability is pretty good, because they try to fix issues before they ever happen. They like to they don't like the customer to be the guinea pig. They like to get all those issues out of the way. Hopefully they catch everything. And when they're doing R&D and building new units and building a new model and everything, they like to get those issues done up front before they make it to the public. And Gallagher does like 5 or 6 years worth of development and building things and making things, and do it for 5 years before they ever. So by the time it gets to the public and out in the real world, it's been already through 5 years of development and trial and error and this and that before it ever makes it to the public. So, which is kind of nice. Hopefully you're not the guinea pig. But as things fail, or I see something like, well, this didn't do it in our 5 years of development, but we do see an issue here. We're going to go ahead and address it now versus letting it build up and cause an issue. So you like to be ahead of the curve. Okay, now let's solder those on and get those out of the way. This also, this is why we're doing it. Let's solder these two as well. Get those done. Do these two and those three. This one's fine. Nothing wrong with it. And that'll be done. And then we'll move. Then what we might do after that is hook up the transformer capacitor to it and power it on and see what it does. If it clicks and lights flash and it's working like it's supposed to, then we'll move on to this stuff here on the output side. So I'm just trying to get these things to solder on. I might be out of frame on the camera. I apologize. I gotta do this the way I'm doing it. And if you can't see it, I apologize. If you're looking at the back of my head, oh well. I'll show you in a minute. Or fast forward 30 seconds and you might already see it. Okay, that's all on there. These two, I'll bend them straight here in a minute, but those two are on there good. Heat that one up just a little bit, let that flow a little bit more. Okay, that looks better. Now I'll solder these on there. So there's like 4 pins on each, or 8 pins on each of these. And there's 4 on the front, 4 on the back. Once you kind of get it started, usually just work your way across and it just kind of flows the way it wants to go. A little bit more there, a little more solder there. That should be good. That one's fine. That's done. That one side's done. A little more solder there. Okay, that looks better. All right, last one of those. Come on. So now we're going to do this. Oh, damn it. All right. Now let's plug this capacitor in right here. Transformer plugs in like this. It has 4 tabs, and if you can plug it in backwards, you kind of have to line it up just right to get it plugged in right, but it won't work right. If you look at the thing, this little tab right here points towards the capacitor. There's another way to look at it, but that's the easiest way to do it up front. Okay, so put that out of the way. Let's put some new connectors on the wire here. And now it's going to be 1/4 inch spade connectors. This female ones, this standard. You use blue or red ones, but the red ones are going to fit better because it's a smaller gauge wire. Blue ones will work, but it's made for the next size bigger gauge wire. I'm going to crimp these on there. One on here. And we'll clean up this burnt stuff there, and this shouldn't hurt anything, but it's, you know, it's there. Clean it off eventually. Flip it over. Alright, what should happen, this bulb won't work because it's broken, but that's just a dummy light LED, tells you hey, power's on. But what should work and should do is these row of LEDs, surface mount ones, should be like 2 red, 2 yellow, 2 green, or 2 red, 2 yellow, 4 green, or whatever. Should go all the way to the green. Every time it clicks, should pulse up to the green. So I'm plugging in here, make sure I get the right cord plugged in, not the other one. So 110, 120 volt. Alright, we'll get to a more permanent one. Okay. So I'm going to test it here in a minute. You can see there's 2 more lights here that aren't flashing at the top there. So there is a calibration screw there. I can adjust that. But it could be that there's something wrong up in there. I don't know. So let's take a fence tester. I got an analog one here I can use, but we'll use a fault finder one. I'm using a Gallagher Smart Fix or Gallagher Fault Finder. Now they come with this ground probe in a little baggie, but most people don't use it. But in order to test the output of any unit at the unit itself, the tester's got to be grounded. or you know, and the charger's got to be grounded. But if you don't have that, you've got to put the ground probe on there and go to the ground side, go to the hot side, and here, see what it reads. 8 kV. Back it up here a little bit so you can see it. Turn the light on, maybe still read it. 7.9 kV is what we're reading. So turn it off. Which, that's nice. I mean, everything else is working good up to here. You know, even up to here, this is still reading good. But I don't like all the burnt stuff on there, so we're gonna go fix that next. Now this capacitor's got a charge built up in it, as well as those big red ones down there have got a big charge built up on it. So I'm going to unplug this, get it out of here, so that way it's not in there and not going to discharge on me. But I'm going to take a big resistor here and I'm going to just go across it. All right, and take a screwdriver and just bridge it, but I like bleeding them off like that. That should be good. I typically don't discharge them myself, but to show you how to do it, how to discharge it, that's what I'm going to do so you don't accidentally hurt yourself. And I'm going to get rid of some of this crawling there just because I can. Okay, now... Okay, this is what we're going to have to do here. This is kind of a jerry-rigged way of doing things, but this is going to be the way we're going to have to do it in order to save this board and allow it to be able to plug into the front case on those little output terminal things. Alright, we're up to about 27 minutes. Okay, why don't we do a part 2 on this so that way this isn't such a long video. Because it's going to take a little bit to do this. So we're going to move on to a part 2. So if you're wanting to follow along, I'll put a link down in the description hopefully. And click on it and go to part 2. But we're going to stop this video now and make another video.